as a freelance writer, you can, I don't know, you can just feel very alone, and you don't have a support network. Like it's all you. Whereas joining ClearVoice, it feels so nice to be a part of an agency and just feel like you have a support network, like you have editors, you have strategists. Yeah, I just feel very grateful for that.
Hey everyone, I'm Harlan Gatlin, and I want to welcome you to our interview series, Behind the Byline, where we get a glimpse behind the curtain at the fantastic writers who contribute to our team. Joining us today is Melanie Clarke. Melanie, do you want to take some time and introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. So my name is Melanie, and I've been a freelance writer for almost 14 years now. And I've been part of the ClearVoice network for about 4 or 5 years. Yeah, and I've just always loved writing, so feels yeah, I feel very blessed to be able to do it as a full-time career.
Awesome. Well, I really appreciate that introduction, and I think taking it back to the start is what we should do. So, what got you into the world of content marketing?
Yeah, as for as long as I can remember, I knew I wanted to be a writer. I always thought I would go into fiction, so maybe writing books. But then as I got older, I realized I just really loved articles, and in particular online articles and online magazines. So yeah, that led me to study creative writing and journalism at university here in Sydney. And then from there, yeah, freelance writing just seemed like the logical sort of career path. Um, yeah, that's that's it.
Awesome. Yeah, absolutely. Well, you mentioned that you always wanted to be a fictional writer, and then when you really got into the world of content marketing, articles is what really shined. You really enjoyed writing articles. So, when writing for yourself, what draws you to a specific topic?
Yeah, I think for me, it's just always been I'll find something very visually inspiring. So yeah, early on I did a lot of writing about like fashion, art, photography, and yeah, I was just always drawn visually to I think other people's creative work, and then that would just inspire me to want to write about it and explore sort of their creative processes. And yeah, I've just always found that really fascinating.
Awesome. Well, you mentioned a few industries there, and I'm curious. So, we know what draws you to a specific topic, right? The visual appealing aspect. Is there an industry in particular that you're most passionate about writing for?
Yeah, just anything creative. So I do a lot of writing at the moment about graphic design, and I really enjoy that because, yeah, one client in particular, it allows me to kind of write about the creative side of graphic design, but then also like work on graphic design to showcase like visuals that go with the article. But other than that, yeah, just always loved writing about photography. And yeah, I tend to do a lot in the fashion and beauty industry as well, which I really enjoy.
Awesome. Well, all the industries you just mentioned, there's this kind of theme that runs through each that they're very creative, but they're also ever changing, they're ever evolving. And so it's really important that you're staying on top of trends and tips and things that are changing in those industries. So, what tools and techniques do you use to conduct research and to gather insights about some of the topics you're writing about?
So I find Google Scholar is really valuable just for getting those like high authority kind of academic sources. Other than that, I just think, yeah, a Google search to begin with is always great. Kind of give you a really good look at like competitors in terms of SEO, but also to get those questions that people are searching in relation to that topic. And yeah, that can really direct the article and just give you a good look at maybe what competitors are doing really well, but also what gaps there are and perhaps what your article can, yeah, just do better.
I really appreciate the shout out to Google Scholar. I've done some academic writing in the past, and let me tell you, Google Scholar was my best friend, and it
Okay.
does not get enough love. And I'm telling you, it's so cool to see how it can come into the world of content marketing as well, not just academic writing. It truly is an awesome resource. I know you mentioned some of these tools that you use for research, but what about actually staying on top of the trends?
I find that just following kind of the key brands in a lot of the industries you write for on social media, so Instagram and LinkedIn in particular, that's really helpful just to, yeah, get their updates, see what they're doing, see how the industries are changing. But other than that, yeah, industry like newsletters are really informative. Yeah.
No, I think all that's great. I think that email newsletter advice is awesome. Definitely not enough writers when they're new in their career are thinking about signing up for email newsletters. Maybe even sometimes they're like, oh, it could fill my email inbox, but really is a great way to stay on top of trends. I would like to talk a little bit about audience, right? So what do you do to adapt your communication style when you're working with different customers or industries and having to write to all of these unique audiences?
I find the most useful thing, and ClearVoice is really good at doing this, is just looking at the brand's profile and their writer guidelines. So straight away, you get a really good idea of what tone of voice they want you to use, the style of writing, and yeah, just sort of maybe things to avoid or like words to try and incorporate. So that's always my go to at first. But other than that, just really looking at the brands on social media. So, yeah, again, just Instagram is a really good one to get a very quick snapshot of the language they're using to speak to their target audience and, yeah, just their style of writing.
Well, I'm so happy you mentioned ClearVoice, and I want to thank you for the shout out there. Of course, it's always happy. I'm always happy to hear that our brand profile and constantly updating that kind of malleable document in our platform. And speaking of ClearVoice, you actually indicated in your pre-interview that working for ClearVoice became this sort of turning point in your writing career. What was your career like before working with us, and what do you think created that shift to propel you forward?
So before Clear Voice, I think you're sort of responsible yourself for finding clients, and that can be really stressful. And as a freelance writer, you can, I don't know, you can just feel very alone, and you don't have a support network. Like it's all you. Whereas joining Clear Voice, it feels so nice to be a part of an agency and just feel like you have a support network, like you have editors, you have strategists, and also just the clients that I've written for through ClearVoice. I feel like there's no way I could have landed them on my own. So there's been a lot of pinch me moments where, yeah, I've been able to contribute content to some very big brands, and yeah, I just feel very grateful for that.
Absolutely. Well, let me tell you, it certainly works hand in hand, Melanie. I've read your work myself, and it speaks for itself. So that sort of matchmaking is always cool. Sure, we have the brands, but really our network is our backbone, right? And being able to work with writers like you always makes it easier. That's how we're able to keep those awesome customers. So we always
Thank you.
appreciate that. You mentioned having that strong support system and how important that is, and how Clear Voice has, been an important part of that for you. So speaking of kind of that personal aspect of being a content a marketer, content writer, how do you balance your personal and professional life as a freelancer?
Oh, it's it's a lot harder now. I recently became a parent, and the juggle is so hard. But before that, it wasn't too bad. So working remotely for me, just I love it. It works so well. Almost all of my clients are based in the US, so um, I think having that flexibility of being a freelance writer and a remote worker, it just works. Like I can work to my schedule. Time zones aren't an issue, which is very important. But yeah, now as a parent, it's tricky, but I just try and cram as much work into the time when my son is asleep. So I'm sure it'll get better with time. As he gets older, it'll get easier. But yeah.
No, that's great advice for anyone who's in the content marketing world and has children. It definitely is that sort of work-life balance, but it takes on a whole new meaning when you have kids. That's for
Mm.
sure. Well, you know, we talked about your past, how you started off as a in the world of content marketing, how you've grown and developed your skill set. And so I think there's no better way than to wrap this up with your future. So what are your future goals and aspirations as a content writer and strategist?
Oh, honestly, just to be able to continue what I'm doing, I feel very privileged just, yeah, to have that flexibility, to be able to um, do writing full time. Like it can traditionally be a an industry that's quite hard to get into. But yeah, just continue being a remote worker and hopefully writing for brands that I feel so passionate about. Yeah,
Well, here at ClearVoice, we'll certainly be happy to get you more opportunities coming your way soon.
thank you.
Melanie, thank you so much for joining us today. And for those at home, thank you for joining us as well. We'll be back with more interviews with our dynamic writers and industry leaders. To learn more about our amazing content specialists, please visit clearvoice.com.